On today's show, we head to the 1820 courthouse in Plymouth for its recognition as an International City of Peace. Hear original poetry and get a short, just the facts update on Plymouth town government.
And if you're looking to learn or just have some fun, we'll also be talking about classes, programs, and Halloweeny things to do in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, and Duxbury.
We're glad you're here. Let's get started. On September 21st, Plymouth residents and friends gathered in the 1820 courthouse to celebrate Plymouth's July 2025 recognition as the 451st International City of Peace, and to honor the contributions of longtime Plymouth residents Lillian Gregory and her husband Dick Gregory, the late actor, writer, activist, and social critic. The local scene was there. Here's a clip.
Now let me begin this tribute by saying how fitting it is that today's celebration of Plymouth as an International City of Peace is being held in the 1820 courthouse, where justice once stood center stage here in the heart of Plymouth, America's hometown, where there is no place for hate. Though no longer a functioning courthouse, this room remains powerfully symbolic, a witness to history and injustices throughout the world, or individuals such as the Gregorys and the Kings, joined by Maya Angelou, Muhammad Ali, and so many others. Courtrooms like this from Selma to Johannesburg, from Tiananmen Square to New Delhi, and at the International Court at The Hague. Justice is never just for us. It's meant for all. Fairness, dignity, human rights. This is the justice Dick and Lillian Gregory lived and fought for.
If you'd like to see more of this event, find it on our community channel, Comcast Channel 6 or Verizon 43, or visit our YouTube channel at The Local Scene under the playlist Community Events.
Spiders and bats are ready for their close-up at the Plymouth Public Library on October 29th. Commonly known as critters seen in the corners of haunted houses and fluttering around the heads of ghouls, ghosts, and goblins, there's so much more to these creatures than their creepy, crawly reputations. Visit the Phalo Room at 5 p.m. to gain a deeper understanding of spiders and bats, like the many ways that spiders find food and habitat, behaviors, and ways that bats communicate. This class is good for kids of all ages, will be about an hour long, and requires registration. Register through the library's website.
Help keep Plymouth beautiful on November 1st and lend your helping hands to the Fall 2025 Plymouth Hometown Cleanup, a day when Plymouthians together clean up our neighborhoods, parks, roadways, and other corners and hollows in our town in need of some care and attention. Participate solo, join an existing group, or create your own cleanup crew. Scan the QR code here to sign up to participate, or use the website link at tinyurl.com/Plymouth Fall Cleanup 2025. Do you want more details? Contact Patrick Farah at Town Hall at 508-322-3374 or by mail at pfarah@plymouth-ma.gov.
For the 10th year, the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce is inviting families looking for a safe and fun trick-or-treating environment for their littles to downtown Plymouth for Halloween on Main Street. Starting at Plymouth Memorial Hall, over 70 Main Street businesses will be taking part in this all-treat, no-tricks fun. The Town Hall Green will be the Halloween scene with kids' crafts and pumpkin decorating. There'll also be a police and fire touch-a-truck opportunity along the Candy Trail. Halloween on Main Street starts at 3 p.m. and will run until 5. This event is ideal for your youngest ghouls and goblins up to age 10.
Here's Dave Antoine with a Just the Facts update on Plymouth town government on the local scene.
As they head toward the October town meeting, the Plymouth Advisory and Finance Committee met once again at the Great Hall to go over their September 17th agenda, the primary focus being the fall town meeting article review. Having approved the past meeting minutes for August 27th and September 3rd, the committee got right to business with David Gould, director of the town's Energy and Environment Department, to discuss Articles 7 and 8. Article 7 concerned Morton Park with the dedication of town-owned land. In the first of two presentations, David discussed the culvert easements and a history of the space, given that the town is applying for $2 million in funding from the Federal Highway Administration and Mass DOT. This is to build a permanent easement designating the area for highway purposes. Having been in contact with the state's Executive Office of Environmental Affairs, the existing parkland at Morton would remain the same. Article 8 concerned the N-Star Eversource with an easement focusing on Spring Lane Jenny Pond. David was asking for a vote to authorize the Select Board to grant and convey the company access and utility easements for installing a pad mount transformer and related equipment as part of a Jenny Griswold project with respect to dam repairs and a Nature Like Fishway project. The same was for an upgrade in communication equipment, with David explaining that the company needed an easement to maintain the new electrical utilities without a roadway. The committee then moved on to Article 25, a citizen's petition article that would amend the zoning for restrictions on sand mining. This became a no motion, no action article with elaboration by both the Plymouth Stewardship Alliance and the Town Planning Department. An Alliance representative highlighted the initial work they're putting forth with the department. A promising note is they've met with the planning officials in the spirit of collaboration, looking at a reformation of the Earth Removal Bylaw Committee. Such work will begin with a review of the current bylaws, with the goal of strengthening them and addressing enforcement details citing past or ongoing projects. The Alliance was thrilled to see this as a positive collaborative path forward in a partnership with the betterment of the town. Following up was Planning Board Chair Steve Bolton indicating the work that they have cut out for them, such as crafting a draft scope of work with the possibility of getting a consultant. The aim is in the interest of establishing future plans and parameters, comprising a committee of experienced town officials with a range of opinions, backgrounds, ideas, and what technical abilities they have. The goal is to launch committee appointments in December. This has been your Plymouth Government Access on the local scene.
Next up is poet Joanna Zarkadis in a reading of her original work.
And our next reader is now Joanne Zarkadis. Hi. So I have 3 poems. One is serious, one is silly, and one is a love poem. This first poem is serious. It's called I Speak For. I speak for the baby rabbit laying mangled in our side yard. I speak for this little one we gently lifted off the path and set down in the shrubs, hidden from view, out of harm's way. I speak for the mother rabbit, sitting outside her nest under the deck, waiting and wondering when her little one will return from his first solo adventure. I speak for all mothers, waiting for their sons and daughters to arrive home whole, happy, and unharmed. Military mothers praying their children will return from war. Black and brown mothers hoping their children maneuver the day without being attacked for the color of their skin. Mothers of gay and trans kids wishing their children could have one day free from bullying and harassment. I speak for all mothers who love their children fiercely while knowing that sometimes love is not enough to keep them safe. This is my love poem. This poem's for you. I wrote it in the middle of the night with no lights on, surrounded in peaceful, dark silence. I used the loveliest words I could think of: luscious, luminous, sensual, winsome, wistful, nostalgic, arabesque, pirouette, rendezvous, reverie. You can arrange them any way you wish, but when you read them out loud, read them slowly, oh, so slowly, savoring the sound of each syllable and the feel of each word vibrating on your tongue and lips. Read them more than once, and each time you do, think of me thinking of you. This is the silly one. It's called What's the Rule? If more than one mouse is called mice, why isn't more than one house called heis? If more than one goose is called geese, why isn't more than one moose called meese? You have 1 foot, but 2 feet, 1 tooth, but more teeth, a child or some children, an ox or some oxen. You can have 1 tuna or 2, 1 sheep or many, 1 fish or 10, 1 aircraft or a fleet. Keeping track is quite a feat. You have, you had, you hold, you held, you know, you knew, you grow, you grew. You vacuum with your vacuum. You spoon with your spoon. So doesn't it make sense to broom with your broom? The list goes on and on, exceptions to every rule. For one rule fits all, I am truly yearning. It's very confusing, not one bit amusing, especially for those who are teaching or learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Clearly, you like to play with words. And the word luscious, I will tell you, that was what my grandmother used when she talked about the food that she was cooking. So thank you for reminding me about Grandma Molly.
Swirling through the autumnal season on an enchanting, chilled breeze of fright, fun, and sensory delights, Halloween fosters community spirit and an escape into spooky fun through costumes and themed events. But what is the basis for the folklore and customs of our Halloween holiday? Crack the creaky door open at the Plymouth Public Library on Monday, October 27th for Halloween, a haunted history with Dustin Perry. You might recognize Dustin from his time as a featured investigator on Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International, or his appearances on Destination Truth and Ghost Nation. Oh, and ghost stories. Dustin will have some paranormal tales to share too. The talk starts at 6 p.m. in the Phalo Meeting Room and is perfect for Halloween lovers of all ages. Register through the library's website.
Songwriter Gabriella Simpkins didn't initially plan to perform her own compositions, but as her works became increasingly introspective and intimate, she decided to step up to the mic and put her voice to her words. Based on Cape Cod, Gabriella is an award-winning composer and multi-instrumentalist whose music is a convergence of influence from folk to classical to jazz and indie rock, and whose guitar style has been compared to Nick Drake and Joni Mitchell, with classical compositions compared to Debussy, Schoenberg, and Stravinsky. Don't miss her genre-bending performance in the Mary Room at the Duxbury Free Library on Saturday, October 18th at 2 p.m. Let her know you plan to come by registering through the library's website.
Next up is poet John Holgerson.
Okay, so now we're going to bring in a ringer, one of our favorites, John Holgerson.
So now I'm not so sure I'm going to say what I was going to say, which is thank you to the America Hometown Laureates for this event, and for the Uva Wine Bar for providing a venue. Of all the venues, if you can't have an art gallery reading, a bar reading will do pretty well. The third choice I have is a bookshop, which leads me to an unpaid public announcement that on June the 18th in the Serendipity Bookshop in Taunton, Massachusetts on Main Street at 6:30, there'll be a poetry reading by a group of poets called Uncommon. And I am one of the 4 poets in that group, and the 2 poets that are going to follow me at this microphone, Elizabeth Birch and Mark Walsh, are 2 of the others. And the only one missing is Brian Mosier, who couldn't be here tonight. So if you find yourself wandering Main Street in Taunton on Wednesday, June the 18th, whether it's intentional or unintentional, please feel free to drop into the Serendipity Bookshop. The first poem I'm going to read, we often read our newest poems because we think that they're our best inventions, and sometimes they are. But I'm going to read a poem that I wrote in the late fall, early winter of 1976. And it was just before my wife and I got engaged. I don't really know if there's a correlation between the poem and that event. There may have been. It's called Robin at Christmas. Snow falls on the roads leading from this city, the roads I nearly took when I thought cold froze grace and beauty. With your touch and smile, all God has made, I hold. Grace and beauty thaw with words free from guile. Snow obliterates the roads. A little bit more recent poem, a few years ago, I was in another bar in a Mexican restaurant celebrating a birthday of a young woman, and she had been given a gift certificate for a tattoo, and this would be her first tattoo. So I asked her if she'd thought about the design for the tattoo, and she didn't answer me with words. She reached into her purse and took out a pen, and on a napkin, she drew the design that I describe in the poem. I've heard that great ideas have come from conversations had in the bars of Mexican restaurants, so I hope this turns out to be one of them. It's called Unnecessary Tattoo. A bruised heart, cleaved in two, stitched down the middle. No mystery or enigma here, no obscure or secret riddle. It's there, behind your eyes. It's the catch in your voice at the mention of star-crossed lovers or the vagaries of choice. It can be seen in the ashes of the cigarettes you snuff out, the lingering sparks of memory in your holy grail of doubt. Don't tell me when it's done, the needle round and thin, the short, hot veneer of pain, the stain upon the skin. It's just another private part you'll probably hide from view, a duplicitous reminder, an unnecessary tattoo. So we are living in perilous times. Books are being taken from the shelves of the Library of Congress by the government because it does not want us to know the ideas that are in those books. Institutions of higher education are being told what they must teach and what they must not teach by the government. People in our society walking down the street are abducted by men in masks, thrown into vans, and stashed away in foreign prisons. If you are an artist, whether you're a writer, a painter, a singer, a songwriter, a playwright, an actor, it's my belief you have a responsibility to speak out and against these things that are so adverse to our values as an American society. Democracy isn't just a noun, it's a verb, an active verb. This poem is called Warning. It was inspired by a poem of the same name by the late Canadian poet Leonard Cohen. If your neighbor disappears, oh, if your neighbor disappears, the Hispanic man from Venezuela who helped you paint your house, or the young woman who babysat your children while dressed proudly in that rainbow-colored blouse. If your neighbor disappears, oh, if your neighbor disappears, don't ask what happened to the multi-tatted black man who lived on your block, or the foreign college student with whom you like to talk. Beware of the men wearing balaclavas who cruise our streets each day. They have plans you can't ignore, or else they'll come a-tapping, rapping, bounding on your door when your neighbor disappears. Oh, when your neighbor disappears. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Join the Pembroke Library for a Halloween cooking party on Thursday, October 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. Culinarians are encouraged to join the crew in costume and be ready to cook up a delightfully spooky menu of jack-o'-lantern veggie cups, witch's brew smoothies, Monster Energy bites, and spooky quesadillas. And there are also dairy, gluten, and egg-free options available. The cost is only $25 per person, and the event will be lots of fun for chefs ages 5 and up. Visit NewEnglandChefsCollective.com to get your tickets.
Whether you're a bicycle enthusiast or just enjoy riding at a leisurely pace on a beautiful New England day, your travels will be less bumpy if you're prepared for basic mechanical issues that can crop up when you're venturing out on 2 wheels. Every month, Sun and Ski Sports in Pembroke offers Learn How to Keep Your Bike Rolling, a monthly maintenance clinic that can empower you to take care of basic issues on your own and get right back on the go. This month's clinic is on Saturday, October 18th from 2 to 3 p.m. when the focus is how to set up and repair a tubeless tire. On November 15th, learn about doing a 12-point inspection and adjustments. Sun and Ski Sports is located at 296 Old Oak Street in Pembroke. For questions, call 781-826-3556.
The ghosts of department stores and bowling alleys past will haunt the halls and rattle the doors at the Kingston Collection on Thursday, October 30th for Malloween. Come down from 5 to 7 p.m. to enjoy a spectacular night of spirited, family-friendly Halloween festivity throughout the entire mall. There'll be trick-or-treating with candy and all kinds of treats being offered by the amazingly eclectic mix of shops and businesses that reside at the collection. Hunt ghosts and pumpkins hidden all over the mall in a scavenger hunt, where you can win a wickedly magnificent prize. At 6:15, there'll be a costume contest with prizes for the most original, scariest, and best family costumes. Grab some sinister selfies at a fantastic photo stations throughout the mall all night long. The Kingston Collection is located at 101 Kingston Collection Way.
The First Ladies is a book by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray that follows the unlikely friendship and remarkable partnership of First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt and civil rights activist Mary McLeod Bethune. Author Beatrice Williams says of the book, "This rich, compelling portrait of a friendship between 2 quiet revolutionaries overturns our ideas about class, race, and gender in the 20th century. A magnificently moving story, both intimate and monumental, that ultimately delivers a message of reconciliation and hope." The First Ladies is the featured book for discussion at the Kingston Public Library on Tuesday, October 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. So you can prepare, the library has book copies in several formats, regular and large print, as well as an audiobook CD available at the circulation desk. E-books and e-audiobooks are also available on the Libby app. No registration is required and newcomers are welcome. The discussion group will meet in the adult reference area of the library. And that, my friends, wraps this episode of The Local Scene this week. Thank you for watching.
And if you live or work in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, or Duxbury and would like to have a show of your own or a podcast, you should. Email community@thelocalscene.media to find out about our free production services and training for community members.
And if you have a story or event you'd like people to know about, email us at story@thelocalscene.media.
And we thank our patrons, Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza, for supporting our mission of community in action through media.
The Local Scene this week will be back next week with more of what's good and good to know in our area. Until then, we'll see you on The Local Scene. Hello, friend. If you enjoyed this video, please think about scanning the QR code and making a contribution to The Local Scene. Every dollar is appreciated, and your support helps keep community media alive and our resources free to the community. We'll see you on The Local Scene.